right. Good evening. Fade to black. Fade to black. Thursday night, Fader night. Holy crap, we got a great night tonight. John Rappaport's going to be here in just a minute. Nick Pope is going to be here to help me take phone calls. Oh, I just thought of something. I need to get Nick over here on this. So it's Nick Pope. Oh, man. Geez. I'm running out of time here. I got to do this now. See, this is what's really cool about this, which is, okay, let's see here. It is actually called, let's see here. Right. Okay, got it. I can't say what his secret name is. That would be uncool. So I can't do that live. And I got it. He is here. Okay. Boom. Done. All right. Yeah, what time is... Oh, man, I got 20 seconds here. We will be... Boom, done. All right, we're going live right now. Enjoy the show.
Radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Yeah, man. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. Yeah, it's Thursday. It's another Fader night. May 10th. 2018, 130 days into the new year, just 235 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet, I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. Open lines all night long. Tonight, well, we've got John Rappaport here at the bottom of the hour with his No More Fake Newsroom Live. And then we're opening up the phone lines. And I'm going to get a little bit of help tonight. Nick Pope is going to be here to to help man the phones. Take your phone calls, answer your questions all night long. Get ready for that. Really looking forward to this. And it's just going to be one of those nights. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to only run one phone line tonight. 323-275-9695. No, I'm sorry. No, we're going to switch. Let's get off that one. We're going to do 323-825-5045. Okay? 323-825-5045. So if you use the other phone bank, I'm not going to pick that up. All right? Okay. All right? Okay. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Facebook. You can still, did you see my post today over on Facebook? I haven't been on Facebook in 3 days. 3 days, man. Wow. I jumped on Facebook because I got an email or two, and somebody said, hey, man, I sent you a message on Facebook. You didn't, and I didn't want to be the doofus. So I jumped over to read the message, the PM, and then jumped off. But I just wanted to make sure. No, man, I got it. I read the message, right? So, and that happened twice. But other than that, right? So I jumped on Facebook today, and I was like, man, I haven't been here for 3 days. My last post was on May 7th, and I didn't really notice, and I didn't really care. So I took Facebook Messenger. That's now off of my cell phone. Poof, that's gone. And haven't been really on I haven't. The only reason why I haven't taken it off of my phone is because of the way the app and everything secures verifications and stuff. In case somebody tries to go in and hack my Facebook account, I've got that backup. But that's the only reason why. But I haven't used it. So there you go. Anyway, I don't even know why I jumped into that. Oh, because I just said Facebook. So if you choose, I'm not adding friends. I'm not doing anything over on Facebook. So forget about that. But the company page, we may keep live over there and use it for announcements and stuff like that. But other than that, we don't spend any time over there. We're not going to update it or anything. We'll just put a guest for the show for people, and they can see that and get reminded, because we're spending all of our time over at OnStellar. But YouTube, you can go and subscribe to YouTube. Head over to jimmychurchradio.com, and you can sub our YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I told everybody on Facebook today, if you need to get me, right, it's either OnStellar or it's Twitter, and that's it. And just friends and family are who I'm worried about over on Facebook. But I'll catch up to all of it. Email is Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com, and you can email throughout the show. And Edgardo says, I saw your pic, the one I posted today, because I was consuming alcohol in the picture. What was that nice looking drink you had in your hand? That's some of my brother-in-law's very, very tasty tequila. I don't know what the brand is, but it's that square bottle that you see in the picture. It's over on OnStellar too. I posted it on OnStellar, so if you go over to OnStellar, you can see what I'm talking about. But the bottle, I don't know if you can make it out. But if you click on the picture on OnStellar, it's pretty big. That bottle right there, that painted, that's what it is. There's no name on it. That means it's expensive. All right, let's go, man. I'm in a great mood. It's Thursday night. I get to hang out with all of you. We've got Nick Pope. We've got John Rappaport tonight. And we're going to open up the phone lines and take calls from everybody all around the world. Okay, so get ready for that. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. And you know what's weird? Because I have these multiple monitors here in the studio, and I've tried to figure this out. But this is what goes on. If I click back and forth, and I'll have the page scroll when I'm not on it. Right? It's weird, and I can't figure that one out, why it decides to do that. I'll click on the background. I'll Yeah, it just did it. I clicked on my desktop, and this thing scrolls, and I'm constantly having to scroll back up to where I was, whether it's the internet or notes or Word or whatever. The scroll jumps, and it bothers me. Okay, now breaking news. Let's get to a couple of things here. Astronomers have spotted a carbon-rich asteroid in the icy region beyond Neptune called the Kuiper Belt. And apparently it's the first such asteroid ever found exiled from the inner solar system. The asteroid, known as 2004 EW95, likely formed in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, but was soon hurled out into the Kuiper Belt. Now, this is according to a statement released by the European Southern Observatory. This ancient exiled rock from the solar system's primordial days provides unprecedented evidence of what the early time was really like. Now, this is what they said in the statement, but why is this news? Why the press release? It's my guess that there are probably millions of them in the Kuiper Belt, I would think. But maybe they know something that we don't. Are we supposed to be alarmed about something? I'm just speculating. But, all right, I'm going to give everybody the heads up on this. Today is day 16 of the on-stellar alpha testing. And the improvements have been extraordinary. I posted an article today over at OnStellar. You can go and just click on the trending section. It's right there. It's the one where I'm hoisting up the shot of tequila. And now, so over the next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to see a bunch of changes and improvements into the site. But the big news is the news feed. So the news feed is coming probably around this time tomorrow night. And like I said, over the next 24 to 48 hours. So I would like to see a call to arms happen. Everybody that is on OnStellar. All right, everybody. I want everybody at OnStellar to just go out and talk about it. If we do this over the next couple of days, post something on Facebook or Twitter or mention it in a post somewhere, a forum, maybe a conversation amongst friends. If everybody, with the amount of people that we have on the site right now, if I can get everybody just to go out there and say something to 2 or 3 people, 4 people, we're going to bust this thing to 1 million users in a month. And that's what I really, really want to see, because then the floodgates are going to open, and I want to get to that point. I'm suggesting this for you. I want everybody involved and realizing what an amazing place this is. So that's my call to arms. I posted the article up, and I want all of you to think about that, because I'm so proud with all of the emails and all of the messages and notes and posts and tweet. I'm so proud of everybody coming back. Oh, man, I cannot believe how cool this is. Thank you. This is the greatest thing ever. I haven't had one negative comment. You can't. There is nothing negative to say about OnStellar, right? But it feels good when I get that kind of feedback. And you will get that same feeling. You want to enjoy this. It's great. You could be that game changer that you really are. Just go out there and turn a couple of people onto this. They're going to come back to you and go, dudette. This is amazing. Jimmy in red, trouble ahead. Oh, is that what this is? Yeah, it is pretty red. It's almost pink. That happens to me when I have my screen extended across more than one screen. It's like a ghost cursor of sorts. I know. It's trippy. It's been going. It didn't used to do that. It's only started the last couple of months. But I've had the multiple, monitor thing here for a long time, and I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'm trying to change my habits, and it still comes right back. Anyway, OnStellar, just everybody, just go out there, post, tweet, do it a couple of times over the next couple of days, because when you invite somebody now, they're going to come over to OnStellar, they're going to see the news feed, they're going to get registered, they're going to see all these friends and people, and we're doing stuff. with authors and researchers. You know what? I don't want to give away too much because I don't know which stage is going to happen first. Well, I know the news feed will be first, but we've got some really, really cool additions that are going to happen. My screen is just flooded now with on stellar messages. I don't even want to go over here and look. I swear. Oh, man. You guys are too much. I love all of you. And that little hoist of the tequila shot was heartfelt. I really do mean that. Just thank you, Rita and I, everybody here at Fade to Black and On Stellar. It's just absolutely incredible. Somebody posted up in On Stellar, and I don't know who it was. I don't have the message up anymore, but this picture that says New York City loves On Stellar. I'm going to post this up in Twitter, and I'm going to get everybody's names here, and then I'm going to get this image up in Twitter. But man. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. You have to see this. Check this out. This is what life is all about right here. This is what life is all about. And I'm not kidding. All right? It's about this. Look at this picture. You ready? Are you guys ready? It doesn't get any better than this. Check this out. Bam. Look at that picture. Does it get any better than that? It does not. That's what this family is about. That's what this community is about. That's what Fade to Black is about. That's what you are about and those around you. This is what Rita and I get our energy from. Look at that. Okay, now I am going to get everybody's names here, and I'm going to post this far and wide. But that's exactly right there. Look at that. That's what life is about. And that's our next generation, too. I want to know everybody here. Everybody's going to get the shout out of a lifetime. But thank you for that. All right. Let's see here. Okay, now, I announced last night on the show. Man, I got to look at the clock here. Okay, I got some stuff I got to get out of the way. I announced last night on the show that Corey Good is going to be my special guest to come and hang out up at the Soul Tech Gathering. So look forward to that like I am. Corey Good's going to be hanging out. He's never been to ECETI before. Roger's going to be with him, and we're going to do the Sky Watch together. And so, Friday and Saturday, come and hang out. Corey is there just to be with the FADERNIGHTs. Okay, he's going to be hanging out with all of you. And if you've ever wanted to just sit, come up and say hi or have a conversation, there you go. Okay, so that's going to go down. But tickets and info are over at Soul Tech Gathering. And we've got the Skywatch, the Field of Dreams. We're going to be teaching for 4 straight days up there. We've got James Gillilam. We've got Jason Quitt, Matthew Ryan, Michaela Sheldon, Teresa Yanares, Holly Marie, Mary Gabrielle, Ashley, John Lund, Dana Harvey. That is the most astounding list of teachers that you're ever going to want all in one place. 300 FADERNIGHTs. We're going to be hanging out and eating and talking and making friends and having experiences and memories of a lifetime. So go now, Soul Tech Gathering. We're only selling 300 tickets, and it's August 9th through the 12th. It's coming up on us very, very quickly. Okay? All right. August 9th through the 12th, Soul Tech. Don't forget, we're coming up to 21 days, 3 weeks. 21 days, June 1st through the 4th, 2018, Contact in the Desert, Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California, at the Renaissance Resort and Spa. 4 days, 65 speakers. I think it's 65, 45. I don't know. It's a long list. We will be broadcasting live Friday night. I'll be hosting panels and events all weekend long and introducing and emceeing a bunch of our friends. So get your tickets and info right now. Contact In the Desert, Indian Wells, Palm Springs. Don't forget about our podcast. We have over 850 shows. Unbelievable. Custom apps, Apple, Android, just $2 a month. Also, you can become a FADERNIGHT. Now, this picture that I just posted, this New York City shot, New York City loves on Stellar. Do you see that fade to black hat right there? You see that? You see that fade to black hat? That's a FADERNIGHT right there. There's only one way to get that hat. We do not sell them. I don't give them away. I do not. You can become a FADERNIGHT over in our membership section on the site. You become a game changer. You get one of those fade to black hats autographed. And that's a FADERNIGHT right there. I don't know who it is. I don't know. I'm going to find out, though. Going to find out. So you can do all of that in our membership section on the site. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Bono is 58. Kenan Thompson, my man. That's right. I like Kenan Thompson. I don't care what you say. Today is 40. And one of my favorite movies, Good Burger. Yeah. When I was, when our daughters were very young, they loved Kenan and Kel. And when you're a parent, you're forced into watching your children's programming. And I got into Kenan and Kel. I actually used to sit and watch Kenan and Kel. Happy birthday, Kenan Thompson. Our dead guy's birthday today is Sid Vicious. Moment of silence, please. 1957 and 1979, died at the age of 21. On the evening of February 1st, 1979, a small group of friends, which included Jerry Only of the Misfits and Howie Pyro of D Generation, they gathered to celebrate Vicious having made bail. He was arrested for murder at a friend's Manhattan apartment in New York City. Sid overdosed on heroin and died in his sleep. Never Mind the Bullocks. Here's the Sex Pistols, is the only studio album by the Sex Pistols. It was released on the 28th of October, 1977. Sid died just over 2 years later, and he never got the chance to see how the Sex Pistols would change the world. Happy birthday, Sid Vicious. On this day in history, 1877, President Rutherford B. Hayes has the White House's first telephone installed in the telegraph room. The phone number? Number 1. It would be 50 more years until President Herbert Hoover had the first telephone line installed at the president's desk in the Oval Office. Fader fact. Here you go. Fader fact. Vetted. There are more cars than people in Los Angeles, California. And that is a fader fact. And until you've lived here, not a week, not a visit, not a drive-by, until you've lived here for a couple of years, do you understand the truth of that? There are more cars than people in Los Angeles, California. All right. Tonight's another Fader Night. John Rappaport and open lines all night long. Tonight we've got Nick Pope here. He's going to join me manning the phones, taking your calls, answering your questions, and we'll be doing that at the top of the hour. Now, I'm going to hit this coffee because I got something to say. And I need my River Moon coffee. Gots to have it. I was reading a few posts that were sent to me today via email. All right, and it was really weird because I got 2 emails with about 5 posts from 2 different people that were cut and pasted in, and where they came from doesn't matter because they were from various sources around the net. But it was what was in them that tripped me out. They were all pretty long, but here are some of the best parts. One of the posts read, and I'm quoting here, I just took a piece of it. You can't trust any UFO researcher. They are all in it for the money. End quote. Now, first, there are maybe 2 or 3 researchers out there that do it full time. Okay? And, okay, there may be more. But trust me on this. Most researchers have a job. They work. And I can tell you, well, I'm not going to say specifically names. Okay, I was just going to rattle off a bunch of names because I know the researchers and I know what they do during the day. I know this. Most have a job and career. And any researcher out there will tell you they ain't in it for the money because there is no money. All right, there isn't. There is no full-time gig available. There are a handful. Richard Dolan has a publishing company. I get that, right? And Linda has Earth Files and a few other things. But Greer is doing his thing. But other than that, it's very slim. The hundreds and hundreds of authors and bloggers and researchers and investigators, MUFON, everybody's got a job. They're not in it for the money. And that's exactly why you need to listen to everybody. And it was just a surprising statement. And why would you say something like that when you don't really know? Another one read, what do you know today about UFOs that we didn't know 50 years ago? Nothing, end quote. And I'm just like, wait a minute. It's like the funniest thing I've read all year. Anyone who says this and thinks this is not studying anything. They're not studying anything, not from the past or from today. They're not. This is the weakest thing that I could ever imagine for somebody to post. It's like a personal opinion from somebody that is just trying to troll, because this could not be farther from the truth. We know so much more today. It's really funny. If you go back and look at the research that was being done and the books that were being written in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and the research and what we know about today, it's two different things. Go watch a UFO documentary from 1970. Go. There's plenty of them, and they're fun to watch. It's just a crazy statement. Another one read, some of the stuff you can't make, you just can't make up. Jimmy knows stuff that he isn't sharing with us. He needs to tell us everything. He's holding back, which makes him part of the system, and they are using him to feed us disinfo. What? Normally, I would save this, print it, and put it in a frame, hang that on the wall. But I'm not, But one thing I need to make really, really clear. My day is spent researching, it's spent writing, working on stuff. If somebody is giving me disinfo to share, I would like to know how it's done, because there's no opportunity there. I basically spend my days completely alone. With Rita, but I don't have people around me, right? Because, I don't take phone calls. I don't really pick them up. And I don't want to give you the wrong impression here, but usually I'm too busy. But unless it's important and it's someone that I know. But other than that, I don't get bogged down with phone calls. So I'm not talking to somebody that's going to feed me disinfo or somebody that I don't know. And most of the conversations are business related. It's not like it's about the UFO subject 24/7. I'm talking to guests and researchers. It could be about AI, time travel, New World Order, near-death experiences, dreams, Egypt, lost history. It could be about anything, right? So there's that part of it. And I only make phone calls. I guess maybe I'm calling for the latest disinfo updates. I don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that anyone who would spend a day with me, you know, the ones that say that I'm a CIA shill, would see that my days are totally normal. I wake up, coffee, Rita, dogs, eat, work, coffee, email, work, coffee, dogs, write, little on Stellar, little internet, little Twitter, write, coffee, dogs, Rita, work, blah, blah, blah. Then, you know, that's my day, and then it's showtime. And then after that, we go home, watch some TV, eat some dinner, go to bed, wake up the next day, rinse and repeat. I would love to know how the CIA or the NSA or the DOD comes into the picture. I don't see the influence. I don't see the disinfo. So, poster boy, poster girl, come and spend a day or two with me and let me know where the disinfo leaks are so I can plug them. If the agencies are getting it done through me, they are better than we all know, seriously, because the real question is, if there's disinfo getting through, is which guests that have been on the show are on their payroll. Right? Possible. Got to think about that one. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, John Rappaport, Fader Night, No More Fake Newsroom, live, Nick Pope manning the phones, all of that and much, much more is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter @jchurchradio. It's that simple. And I'll be right back with John Rappaport. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that. Life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show. on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the ministry of truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with John Rappaport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be here. I am having a little question about my audio level. Can you hear me okay?
You're good.
Good. Okay, good to be here. Good to be back, folks. So I want to get into at least one article tonight, maybe two if we have time, because I'll be commenting as I go along here with the first article, picking up on the subject of genetic engineering, Brave New World, the future, right around the corner. I've been keeping you and myself up to date as well as possible, and I want to continue this thread. So we have an article from Futurism.com titled, "We're Getting Closer to Cloning Humans. Here's What's Stopping Us." This is the first article. I see no date on it. Let's see. No, I don't see a date. So we'll presume that it's in the last year or two for sure. Okay. As recently as the year 2000, it seemed almost inevitable that rogue scientists would start human cloning any day. Yes, over the past 15 years or so, genetics research has gotten so advanced that from a scientific perspective, we're actually pretty darn close to being able to create human clones. But no need to freak out just yet. There are significant barriers, and they're not only scientific ones. Skipping around here, the scientific advances have made it possible for companies to confidently charge customers to clone their beloved pets. It's definitely a real thing. And then the article mentions something about Chinese scientists successfully cloning monkeys. That lets me know this is most probably a 2018 article. Doesn't seem like much of a stretch that we could clone the humans, right? But given the science we have now, it would still require a significant number of failed human pregnancies, so many that it's hard to imagine ethics committees allowing the research to happen. Really? Many countries simply would not allow this process. Any form of cloning is flat out banned in 46 countries, and reproductive cloning, specifically to create full-grown humans, is banned in another 32 countries, leaving open the option to clone human cells for therapeutic uses, but not complete humans. However, the article goes on to say, that's not to say that just because scientists are not supposed to do something that they won't. But human cloning research would require significant financial support and the infrastructure of sophisticated technology. It's not something that could be done in someone's basement lab. Therefore, unless some mad billionaire decided to attempt the process privately, anyone who wanted to carry out human cloning would have some form of review board to answer to. Well, what about, this is now my comment, what about a mad billionaire? What about several mad billionaires cooperating behind the scenes? Or what about organizations that can access the sufficient funds, maybe not from some mad billionaire, but from collectively a number of different places, to attempt the process of cloning a human? What about that? What about military labs? Super secret military labs, and not just in the United States. What about the attractive possibility that the military could create clones? Because ultimately their desire would be to have armies of clones somewhere out in the future, and they would want to do preliminary experiments. The article concludes, quote, because China hasn't formally banned cloning in any way, some critics have feared that Chinese scientists might attempt a human clone after their success in monkeys. Yet, those researchers at least stated they had no plans to clone humans, as, quote, social ethics would by no means allow that practice. This last statement is telling. Should they perform human cloning, scientists know very well that they would be shunned by the scientific and diplomatic community altogether. That pressure alone may be enough to keep rogue scientists from trying anything, even in places where there are no legal limits on the practice, at least for now. I don't know about that. What about China? No ban formally on cloning. Ample opportunities to do secret research. I mean, one of the countries in the world that really has the capacity to keep major secrets from their own population, not to mention foreigners. What about that? Would scientists who are ordered by the government, say in a country like China, or in a secret military facility in many countries, would scientists really disobey orders on the basis that they would, quote, be shunned by the scientific and diplomatic community? The point being, they wouldn't be shunned. No one would know who they were. And the government would be on their side. And the government, or some agency of the government, would have every reason to cover up such experiments, because if they were revealed, then they, the agency that ordered those experiments, would be exposed. I think there's a tremendous possibility of carrying out this research. So now let's go to NBC News. Chinese scientists clone monkeys, break barrier to human cloning. This is actually Reuters January 24, 2018. Chinese scientists have cloned monkeys using the same technique that produced Dolly the sheep 2 decades ago, breaking a technical barrier that could open the door to copying humans. 2 identical long-tailed monkeys were born 8 and 6 weeks ago, making them the first primates to be cloned from a non-embryonic cell. Involved transferring the nucleus of a cell, which includes its DNA, into an egg which has had its nucleus removed. Researchers at the Chinese Academy of Sciences Institute of Neuroscience in Shanghai said their work should be a boon to medical research by making it possible to study diseases in populations of genetically uniform monkeys. But it also brings the feasibility of cloning to the doorstep of our own species. Well, I have to comment on one of these statements here. We hear a lot about this when it comes to cloning. Well, this is a boon to medical research, making it possible to study diseases in populations of genetically uniform monkeys. In other words, if you have 50 monkeys, all of whom were cloned, and they have the exact same genetic structure, then you can test out drugs to treat diseases in those monkeys. Pharmaceutical companies, of course, would love this. Yes, I suppose that is true. But on the other hand, in an actual population of humans, you're not dealing with genetically uniform people. You're dealing with people that have little quirks and little differences, to say nothing of major differences in a larger biological picture where disease conditions arise and go away and come back and so on and so forth. So, of what real value is it to be able to study genetically uniform monkeys from a medical point of view? Or is that simply a cover story floated to make it seem that there is a significant medical reason for doing this cloning, when in fact the real reason is to produce clones of any species, including humans, for purposes that would depend upon who's ponying up the money. Get it? All right, let me just continue on with this article a bit. Humans, this is a quote from one of the supervisors of the Chinese program. Humans are primates, so for the cloning of primate species, including humans, the technical barrier is now broken. That's quite a statement. And then again, we have the same story. Quote, the reason we broke this barrier is to produce animal models that are useful for medicine for human health. There is no intention to apply this method to humans. Maybe, maybe not. And there's more on the medical cover story, etc., etc. The 2 newborn monkeys are now being bottle-fed and are growing normally. The researchers said they expect more macaque clones to be born over the coming months. More. And this work has actually been ongoing since, before 1996, when Dolly, the sheep, was cloned. The article states scientists have successfully cloned more than 20 other species, including cows, pigs, dogs, rabbits, rats, and mice. Similar work in primates, however, had always failed. But the new research shows that is not the case anymore. Even so, their success rate was extremely low, and the technique worked only when nuclei were transferred from fetal cells rather than adult ones, etc., etc. Then we have some expert in London, Robin Lovell Badge, a cloning expert at the Francis Crick Institute in London, says, commenting on the Chinese research, the work in this paper is not a stepping stone to establishing methods for obtaining live-born human clones. This clearly remains a very foolish thing to attempt. He seems to be one of those critics who believes, no, we're not close yet. And so forth and so on. The article continues. They're trying, folks. They're trying. They'll continue to try. They have what they believe are good tools now. They're going to continue with their work. And it certainly stands to reason that if anybody, anywhere, is making a serious, organized attempt to clone a human, that it would be done in secret. It would be done in secret. And that would cover a huge range of experimental processes with many, many failures. Many, many failures. So, where are the real prohibitions against this? There are laws, there's peer pressure, as I mentioned before, from scientists in the scientific community, blackballing any scientists who would try it. Is that really sufficient? What about the desire? Talk about mad billionaires. A mad billionaire wants to bring back his mother and is so obsessed with the idea that he is willing to set up a facility somewhere and secretly fund an attempt to do just that. There are so many permutations and possibilities here that I'm afraid the research is ongoing. And therefore, we are getting several steps closer to Brave New World. Part of the problem is, and I'll finish here, is that in media, first of all, media coverage of these events and, quote, breakthroughs is not very hard-hitting. You read an article here, you read an article there. Oh, yes, this attempt here. Oh, yeah, they succeeded, and over here. And, of course, there are prohibitions, and no one would really try to clone a human, and blah, blah, blah. That's the end of the article. There are no major media, tough, extended investigations into this and exposés. They don't want to spend the time and the money, and they certainly don't want to find out that their government and corporate partners are doing this or trying to clone humans. So because of that, we don't see the media pressing and pressuring. I've spoken about this before, and I'm very aware of it because I've been working as a reporter for 35 years, and I know the difference between a casual article here and a casual article there, and pressure, exposés, ongoing investigations, which is a whole different story that wakes people up. Very, very few of those kinds of investigations into anything are going on in major media today. Food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and it's good to be back.
John, don't go anywhere. Do you remember Clonaid?
No.
Clonaid was a company. You're going to remember it when I mention this, but they were a human cloning company that popped up in the 90s. Big sensationalism, claiming that they had cloned the first human child, and I believe she was a she. Right? They cloned a girl, and went all over the news. And they've I'm going to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I read something about them a few months ago that they're still running. I don't know if they're based out of. Seemed like they were in the Caribbean or something, and that they were doing their cloning on an island somewhere else. But it was a very sensational story, and that they said that they had a list of the doctors and their techniques and how they did it. But Clonaid. It was Clonaid, CLONAID. If my memory,
I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pioneers in human cloning.
That's right.
It says, right?
And also, I think now this is where I've got to go back and tax my memory, but I believe they were using alien technology, right? There's something. There was something to it. I can't remember.
Okay, let me read this. Clonaid is the world's leading provider of reproductive human cloning services. Eve, the first cloned baby, was born December 26, 2002.
Right.
Thanks to our team of highly skilled scientists, et cetera, et cetera. Since then, we've been able to help a number of patients have their own children through our cloning technology. Now, I don't know if this is really true, if they're really doing this and did this or not. I have no idea. It's the first time I have looked at this. They're talking about fill out our contact form.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to go back. Let's circle back next Thursday and revisit this. You and I can talk over the week, but I did a lot of research back in the 90s when this kicked off. I'm saying 90s, we're talking 20 years ago now, so but nonetheless, Clonaid, yeah. Yep. Yeah. And they were constantly doing press releases, and there were a couple of videos and press conferences that were put together. Again, I'm reaching back 20 years, but it got pretty sensational there for a minute. But I believe they're still doing their thing, and I think I think they've.
Well, I don't know what their thing is exactly and really, but it's very interesting. Clonaid can help you, and then they give a list of possible if you're sterile and have lost hope of having the child you dream of. If you simply want to be cloned.
Yeah, immortality was the other thing that they were talking about. Oh, somebody just emailed me. They were Raelians. Raelian ETs.
I thought that there was kind of a cultish thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I remember the woman that was the spokesperson too, as well. Anyway, I don't want to waste my time sitting here trying to fire up my frontal lobes and try to remember stuff. I just can't do it. But I'm going to go back and revisit this. And listening to you tonight, I was just thinking to myself, whatever happened to that company, Clonaid? And so there you go. Let's circle back. Let's see what we can find out. And maybe they've got an island full of clones somewhere, stashed away.
Or maybe they don't, and they're just an island full of money. I don't know.
wearing bodysuits. I remember they had outfits. We'll follow up with Clonaid and maybe have some fun with that next week. Until then, be safe, my friend, and all the best.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you so much.
John Rappaport. And again, I say this every Thursday. You want to start off every day over at nomorefakenews.com. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be right back with Nick Pope, and we'll start taking your phone calls. Now, tonight, we're going to be using 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back with Nick Pope. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Hello, Fadernaughts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go back, Lee Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Thursday night, Fader Night. Open lines all night long. Now, these are the rules tonight. We have Nick Pope here, but I'm only using one phone bank tonight. So use 323-825-5045, and we'll line up calls there. Anything on 323-275-9695 will not be answered. Okay, so that phone bank is shut down. It makes my life easier. Okay, so those are the rules. 323-825-5045. So those of you out there that use speed dial with 323-275-9695 and try to break in and try to get through and try to cut in line, it ain't gonna work. All right, so let me welcome back to the program Nick Pope. Nick, how are you, man?
Fine, thank you very much.
And now, Nick, welcome back, and I'm so happy that you took the time to come in and hang out with everybody tonight and answer not only questions but just hang out, because it's a very busy night here on the show. And but I wanted to ask you this, kind of kick things off. Okay, everybody, I've got you on hold. Everything is lining up. Okay, it's going to be crazy, Nick. You'll see what it's like here on a Thursday night. It's a lot of fun. A couple of months ago, I had I got a surprise call from Richard Doty. Right? Not making this up. Richard calls in, and I ended up talking. I've never spoken to him before, and I talked to him for like 90 minutes. And and I was not Mr. Happy Camper. Okay, I've always had questions lined up for him over the years in case we ever did get a chance to talk. But he said something during our conversation that I want to relate to you, because I find it very interesting. And certainly you've been accused of this, and you brought it up the other night on the show, that you're not a disinfo guy. You're not part of the MOD anymore. That's not what goes on. You've been that's been brought up many times. But Doty said, I have been accused of, being a disinfo guy. Oddly enough, that's really funny. But I've often wondered if I've ever had a guest on the show that could be, right? Doty said, yeah, exactly. Doty said that he knew that there were two, that he knew personally, two people on the circuit that are disinfo. Now, that was an interesting comment. And he said one was, I believe, I'm paraphrasing, that one was an A-list speaker, and one was right below that person. Didn't tell me, male or female or anything like that. I didn't want to know. I told him, I said, do not name names on this show, right? I don't want to know. But it was an interesting statement coming out of Doty. What do you think about that? Do you think that there could be somebody out there on the circuit that could be a disinformation agent? Do you think that's possible?
Not really, to be perfectly honest, and I'll tell you why. Government, even if government wanted to do that for a particular reason, either to discredit the field or to sow seeds of dissent and to fuel suspicion, government wouldn't need to. There's so much rivalry and hatred and nutjobbery, if there is such a word, that they frankly don't need to. And everything about government is all economy of scale. If you don't have to do something because it's going to happen anyway, you just let it run. And when I had responsibility for this subject at the Ministry of Defense, if I had wanted to discredit the UFO community by putting people in and spreading disinformation, I suppose I could have done that, but I wouldn't have needed to. It was doing it all by itself.
Why do you think Doty would suggest something like that? And he said it as a matter of fact, by the way. He said he wasn't guessing about this. But why would he say something like that? You know, he's been out of the picture for so long. Is he trying to inject himself back into the narrative again and make himself significant? Well, I mean, why would he say that? It did freak out a lot of people.
I don't know him. I'm not sure that I've ever met him or have a conversation with him, so I really can't speak to what his motivation is. And despite all the statements that have been made, because I come at this from the background of the UK government, not the US government, I don't even know, what access he has really had to this subject. If we were fellow Brits, I'm sure I would have seen his file and vice versa. But it's same but different. So I don't even know what security clearance he's had, what documents he's seen, what programs he's been read into. So I simply can't speculate.
Okay, fair enough. You ready? You want to take some calls? Let's do this. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Nick Pope. Who's calling?
Hi, Nick. This is Phil Christophers. And, actually I had two things. I guess I'll give it to Nick first. Is just based on what you just said there, Nick, what if they had something to hide, like the stealth fighter or something like that? I could see them doing disinformation to kind of send them in a different direction. That's what I'm trying to drive at here. Now, as you working with the Ministry of Defense, doesn't that seem reasonable to you?
Yes, but not quite in the way that Richard Doty seems to be doing this. I mean, or rather not in the way that he's implying. We certainly in the British government, from time to time, I suppose we found it useful on occasion to almost play up the idea of extraterrestrials to hide, I suppose, secret prototype aircraft, drones, that sort of thing.
Right.
But there would be no need. There would be no need to recruit somebody to go out onto the UFO lecture circuit and do that, because there are so many conflicting messages coming from the UFO community anyway. Government simply wouldn't need to do it to push that narrative.
The like your famous picture that disappeared. I mean, what about that? Could disinformation be used to deflect off of, I'm not saying you did with the picture, but specifically with a program out there, maybe getting somebody out there to speak about this, and so maybe the Russians wouldn't know?
Yes, I'm
sorry for this. Yeah, you've got some interference coming in on the line, but go ahead.
Yeah, that photo didn't so much disappear. I know exactly where it went, at least in the short term. My head of division took it down because he'd convinced himself that it did indeed show some classified hypersonic aircraft that either the US or the UK government had, and that we on the UFO project didn't have a read-in to that particular classified project. So that's where it went in the short term. Now, where it went after that, I don't know. It certainly hasn't turned up in the declassification and release of the files, but it's out there somewhere. It's probably on someone's office wall still to this day.
And when it comes to somebody like Richard Doty, when he had specifically said on this program that he was at a UFO conference after he had left, right? He had left the Air Force. And he went to a UFO conference and looked out into the audience and specifically saw a half a dozen agents, Air Force agents, plainclothes, that were sitting in the audience, and they knew who he was. He knew who they were, and he saw it for himself.
Now, that doesn't surprise me, and I have actually done that myself back in, I think it was probably 92, 93, maybe 94. I went to a few UFO conferences in the UK, and I sat at the back and I took some notes and I tried to blend in. But I wasn't, that was not disinformation. That was simply me wanting to see what, if any, information the UFO community had acquired about classified aerospace programs.
That's very interesting. And certainly on the other side of the fence, you're there acquiring information. Maybe you want to know what the UFO community is currently talking about, and you need to stay out in front, right?
Yes. So I think it was keeping an eye on the UFO community. Another example of that is literally we took out subscriptions to some of the magazines that were doing the rounds, and we had them sent to a P.O. box number, and they ended up on my desk. And it was simply, have these people stumbled across stealth programs, for example, that we would rather that they hadn't stumbled across? And if so, can we get that genie back into the bottle or not? But before we even make that decision, we have to find out who knows what. So that means sometimes subscribing to the magazines and sitting at the conference. So on that point, I would agree with Richard Doty that sort of thing does go on.
I've got this question here from our producer, Renee, that she sent me earlier today. So I wanted to get this into you before things get out of control. 323-825-5045. Is this: since so many humans want ETs here openly, do you think the ETs currently interacting with the military and government officials who prefer secrecy for their own advantage should just reveal themselves to the public?
Well, if they're here and if that's what's happening, absolutely. I think the world would be far more interesting after that revelation than before it. But I mean, the question is that the situation? And if it is that actually going to happen? Probably not. I mean, I think that one of the few assumptions we can make about what's going on is that if we are being visited, if there is some interaction, it's going on a covert level, and we don't have the archetypal landing on the White House lawn, and there's probably a reason for that.
And I've got another. Okay, so this comes in from Jenny, and she wants to know if there are the same. Well, it's a long question. I'm trying to paraphrase it here. If the Soviets, or if the Russians have the same information that we do, and are we sharing it with each other when it comes to ETs and UFOs?
Well, I don't think we're sharing it. We're probably trying to steal their information, and they're probably trying to steal ours. And that probably applies as much to any other subject as to UFOs. Now, actually, we discussed this, I think, on Tuesday, but in the declassified British intelligence assessment of the UFO phenomenon, Project Condign, there is actually a very good summary, and I'm surprised it got declassified, because in a sense it shows what we know about them. But there's a very good summary of what the Russians are up to, and it's right there in Project Condign.
And what does it say specifically?
Oh, it just, I don't have it in front of me, and it runs to several pages, and I think parts of it are still redacted. But it basically gives an overview of some of the Soviet programs that looked at this, and it does end up by saying that the Soviets did take a particular interest in potential military applications of this phenomenon.
Let's go back.
Again, shouldn't surprise anyone.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would think that whatever's going on here goes on globally. You know, it's not a U.S. or British or China. It's not anybody's. This is a planet Earth, right? And
absolutely. And I think you were referencing the Chinese there. Absolutely. Chinese will be in this too. But of course, as with all these situations, it's like a game of cards. Everyone's at the table, but everyone's being very careful not to show their hand.
Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb. Say hi to Nick Pope. What do you have for Nick?
Hi, Nick Pope.
Hello.
Hi, it's good to have you back, Nick.
Thank you.
Hey, the other night you stated, and I hope this isn't too personal a question, but the other night you stated that you were an atheist. And
yes.
I was a little bit curious about that because I would assume with all the things you've seen, and I would suspect it's been extensive. What is your definition of an atheist, and what brought you to that conclusion?
Well, essentially just someone who doesn't think there's a God. In my research and investigation into the UFO phenomenon, I had to be very careful in making statements about this, that everything we came up with could be evidenced by really solid scientific data. So, for example, when I talk about a pilot's UFO sighting, we didn't just get the testimony from the witness. We wanted the radar tapes. So it was very much a sort of, well, show me the money. Let's see the evidence on this. And so that's really, that's where I decouple this subject from religion, which I think is simply a matter of faith. Now, if people want to believe, that's fine, but I personally, as somebody who's investigated extraordinary phenomena for the British government, I want more than just belief. I want something more definitive, something that you can replicate, something that stands up to proper scientific scrutiny.
I'm going to jump in, Deb. It's funny that you bring that up because this huge thread popped up on the net. It was really funny. It said the start of the thread was, did the Pope just say he was an atheist? Right. That was the start of the thread. And some people heard the show, some didn't. But when you start off the thread that way, it was like, when did the Pope say this? What are you talking about? And I watched it take a life of its own. And eventually I just jumped in and I said, well, if the Pope said it, then it must be so, right? And that it just went off. It just went off from there. Deb, thank you for the phone call and behave.
Yes, and thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night, you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. Yeah, great phone call right there. Let's take a call from the UK. You ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jim. And hi, Nick.
Hello.
Hi, Mika.
Hello, this is Mika again.
Hi, Mika. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. You, Jimmy?
I'm doing great. And Nick, this is Mika. He is our producer at large in the UK. He's 9 years old.
Yep.
Well, nice to meet you.
Hello.
So, Mika, have you met Nick before?
I have not, but I've heard of him.
Have you seen him on TV?
No, but I've seen a picture of him.
Oh, you've seen a picture of him? Well, we've all seen a picture of Nick Pope. But, Nick, do you watch Ancient Aliens?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, he was on the premiere of this season, episode 1, so you can go back and check that out. But I know that you're a fan of Nick's, and so say hello, and the floor is yours, Mika. What would you like to ask Nick?
Well, I would like to ask him, have you seen a UFO?
Sadly, I haven't. I've investigated hundreds, if not thousands, of other people's sightings, but I have yet to see one myself. Having said that, we now live in Tucson, Arizona, and that's a great place for sky watching. So if I'm going to see one, that'll be where it'll happen.
Okay. Is that there a place in the UK like Area 51 in America?
Not really. I mean, there are various locations where the military will test fly secret prototype aircraft and drones, that sort of thing. But the problem is that the UK is just too small, and once you start flying aircraft at say 1,000 miles an hour, you're across the UK and out over the sea in an instant. So it's just not like the United States, where you've got these vast areas of hundreds of square miles, thousands, where you can fly things and no one will see. You just don't really get that in the UK, unfortunately.
Hey, Mika, let me jump in. I want to ask Nick a question, okay? Nick, there was, I don't have the specifics in front of me, but there was a pretty famous case out of the UK where I believe he was a farmer, remotely, said that the Ministry of Defense showed up. There was a close encounter, and they maybe even a crash craft, but he saw the being get taken, and it was taken to a base, and he named the base. And that what was that case? And what I think he called that base Britain's Area 51.
Well, now, yes, and apologies, Mika, because yes, this is possibly something which I have heard before. Rudloe Manor is a location which has sometimes been called Britain's Area 51. Now, I don't think it is, but that was an old Royal Air Force base, and there was a manor house there, and under the manor house there were some tunnels, and it led to one of those places where, if there'd been danger of nuclear war, they would have evacuated the royal family and senior government officials. And there were rumors that there was a UFO crash and that's where they took the aliens. However, while I've heard those rumors, and I think there was I was even on an episode of Ancient Aliens talking about some of that.
Right.
I'm not absolutely convinced that we had an alien, and if we did, that we took them down there. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's an interesting story.
Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting story. What's the name of the location again?
Rudloe Manor.
Rudloe Manor. There you go, Mika. Okay, so write that down. Rudloe Manor. Okay, Mika, what else do you have for Nick? This is so much fun, Nick. I'm kind of digging this right now. Next, yeah, Mika. Next question. See, I don't have to do anything. I can just kick back.
Have you ever been to Area 51?
No, I haven't. I have been asked to go for a couple of television shows, but I don't believe in causing trouble for the military. I'm still, even though I'm retired from the Ministry of Defense, I don't want to do something that might be seen as just a publicity stunt and create problems for the government here in the US where I live now. So I am quite happy if they invite me, I will come, but I'm not going to turn up and try and sneak in.
Nick, what you should do, why don't you, I think that would be great for your career. Nick Pope arrested by the camo dudes, and then you could kick in your diplomatic immunity.
Yes, well, I will leave that for someone else to do.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Mika, next question. Do you have a whole list of questions, Mika?
No.
Oh, okay, because Nick, you have to admit, Mika's doing pretty good here.
Oh, absolutely, on the ball.
On the ball. Okay, Mika, what's next?
Have you heard me before on Jimmy's show?
I'm afraid not. No, but Jimmy said good things about you when I was on the other night, and said that you were very smart for your age and had a lot of interesting questions.
Okay.
Keep going, Mika. What's on your mind?
Yeah, UFOs and grey aliens at S4.
I don't know. I'm one of these people that I sometimes think that people in the UFO community are always very, very certain about things. I've looked at this for the government, and I'm the first person to say sometimes, I don't know. I haven't been there. I don't have a U.S. government security clearance, so they just haven't told me. If they do, I am not briefed in on that particular classified program.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Mika, you are amazing. And now you've got school today, right?
Yep.
Oh man. Well, are you going to go back to bed, or are you up now? Are you up for the day?
Normally, I'm up for the day.
Now,
after that.
What day does your UFO group meet at school?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So that means today your UFO group is meeting and getting together?
Yep.
And what are you guys going to talk about today? Certainly, you are going to go to everybody and say, today I got to speak to Nick Pope, and they're not going to believe you. So you can play back the show for them. That's fine. But what are you guys going to talk about today?
We're normally obviously going to talk about all they know at the moment, because I don't think they really know, and I have been helping them by saying just search up Area 51 and all of that, and then they'll probably come back knowing stuff like me.
Well, you know what's interesting for me, and I know Nick is listening to you right now, your interest in Area 51, and I understand that, but for you, what is it about Area 51? Is it because it's in the United States, it's so secret, it's been in a couple of movies, you're over there in the UK, or you know, why Area 51?
Well, because everybody's been trying to get in there to find out if S4 has UFOs and grey aliens. But if you ask me, everyone thinks there's nothing in there. But as like me, I know definitely there's UFOs and grey aliens, because you can remember that time when I told you that shooting star went across that. Well, it was too fast for a shooting star and too slow a little bit. So I would say it would definitely be a UFO, and all them lights turned on the runway, and even the secret runway turned on, and then they all turned off and nothing happened.
Well, what do you think about Nick? Isn't this great? It's just amazing for me.
Yeah.
Mika, what do you think about Bob Lazar?
Yeah, he's cool.
Have you gone back, Mika, and certainly your parents can help you do this, but have you gone back and watched the Bob Lazar interviews that were done in the early 90s about S4?
Yes.
And what do you think? Do you think he's a believable guy?
Yes.
Why do you? I do, by the way. I do. Nick, what do you think about Bob Lazar? An enigma, I understand, but what do you think about Bob today?
I don't know. I haven't met him, or I don't think I've met him. I've met a lot of people over the years, but I'm sure I would probably remember that. And, you know, I just don't like to speculate too much when I haven't actually sat down opposite someone, looked into their eyes, and heard their story firsthand. In the intelligence analysis community, there's an old saying, interesting if true, and I often trot that out as really the only answer that you can give to an awful lot of this material. And so my take on Bob Lazar and his claims, interesting if true.
Mika, anything else for Mr. Pope before I send you off to school?
No.
Mika,
thank you very much.
You have a great night and a great day at school, and tell everybody in your UFO club that Nick and I said hello. Will you do that for us?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mika.
Bye.
Bye. Nick, what does that right there, that phone call, What does that tell you about our UFO community? You know, he's 9 years old. He's on top of his game.
Well, it tells me he's up at 4:30 in the morning.
You know, I mean, I'd like to think that when you go to, again, everybody, 323-825-5045. I'm only using one phone bank tonight. I'm watching the other phone bank light up. Don't use that one. Just 323-825-5045. You've been going to conferences for quite a long time, and I see the changes, Nick, at these conferences. We have all generations represented now. It didn't used to be that, and that was a complaint that went around. It was like, you know, the younger generation isn't here. It's just, but it seems to be changing now. And you listen to somebody like Nick, you listen to somebody like Mika, and you have to think that we're in pretty good hands. Do you see the same changes at conferences now, where it is all generations, young and old, are there?
Not as much as it could be or should be. I mean, it is changing, and there are some conferences where you do get more young people. I mean, the one last year that stood out in my mind was Alien Con.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason they did that was that they actually blended science fiction with ufology, which I know is controversial with some people, but they did that, and they have cosplay too. And the view was, well, let's have some fun with this as well as the serious stuff. Let's do it in parallel. So I think we're going to see that sort of thing at Alien Con this year. I think that we might see it at Contact in the Desert, of course, which is just coming up. I'll be very interested to see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we get a lot of young people there. It's not changing as quickly as it might. I have to say, maybe I'm not quite as optimistic as you on this. I think the jury is still out on this one.
Well, the reason why I bring it up like I do, I know the phone calls that I get here, the interaction that I get from this audience, and also on Coast to Coast too as well. But I would say that it's about even. In other words, before I say, you know, we get more younger phone calls here than we do, well, that wouldn't be true, or, you know, my age group or so forth. I don't think that's true. It's well represented across the board. And when we get the FADERNIGHTs together, and you're walking around these conferences and you see all the Fade to Black shirts, well, I'll look at the shirt first. That'll catch my eye. And then I look to see who's wearing it. And it could be any age group. I would think that the Fade to Black shirts are for a younger audience. You know, they're pretty rowdy, but I see it across the board, and I'm okay with that. You know, I want to know that you and I, Nick, we're about the same age, and we're not going to be on this planet forever. And for what you do and for what I do and others, that, you know, I want to know that this road to disclosure and discovery and knowledge and research continues, and that we are represented. But I think that the younger groups out there, I don't think that they are going to be shocked or surprised. I think that the older, with disclosure, I think the older generation would be more into getting freaked out about it. I think the younger generation, like Mika, is expecting contact, and they are okay with it. What do you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. I think it goes back to the old saying that you don't shock people by telling them something or revealing something that they already believe. And yes, absolutely. The young people, whether it's through science fiction or video games or TV shows, whatever it is, I think everyone now is pretty much fully on board with the idea. And if the president went on TV, tomorrow night and said there are aliens, everyone would just say, yeah, so what? And, we always figured it was probably true.
Yeah.
Now what?
Do you think it would be the same in the UK, that kind of reaction, as here in the United States?
Yes, I think so. I think so, and maybe it's a generational thing. But I'm a little bit more optimistic. I think even the older people would probably be fine with it now. I really don't think that we are any longer in the era, if indeed we ever were, of panic in the streets, run for the hills.
Yeah, I've often said, if you're in Tucson, right? Okay, so over in Tucson, the 10 freeway, right? It's right there, the 10 freeway going up to Phoenix. And if a UFO came down and blocked the 10 freeway and blocked traffic, you would have about 10 minutes of people in amazement. But after that, you're going to have people getting out of their cars going, get this thing off of the freeway, right? We've got places to go. And I think it would be like that. I really do. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Scott, how are you?
Hi, Scott. Say hi to Nick.
Hi, Nick. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
I have to admit, I'm the guy that started the Pope thing to stay.
Oh, that was you? Okay.
That was me.
All right. Fair enough.
Nick,
what do you have for Nick?
I have a fair question for you. And Nick, you said you're an atheist. And
yes.
I can understand everybody has their own opinions on what goes around in this world. But let me ask you something. The human anatomy, what do you think had designed that?
Evolution.
Nope. Evolution from what? Evolution starts from somewhere.
Okay.
Well,
Scott, where are you going with this? Believe me, I love the question, by the way. Where are you going with this?
Well, I don't mean to offend anybody, but everything has to start from somewhere. The flesh comes from somewhere. It just doesn't pop out of thin air. Even if it's evolution, where did evolution start?
Are you asking Nick? Okay, Nick, you know what? The atheist in you, Nick, I would love to hear this answer. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think there are answers, and I think even science says that we don't yet fully understand the mechanism and process by which life first arose, any more than we really understand how the universe was created. People talk obviously about the Big Bang, and then people say almost as a philosophical point, but what came before the Big Bang? But if the Big Bang was the point at which not just space but time came into existence, then even the word before is meaningless. And I don't have answers for this, and the brightest theoretical physicists in the world don't. But none of that means that we won't figure out a grand theory of everything in a few years' time. After all, I think history shows that our understanding of the universe and of science and the laws of physics changes over time, and we just find out more and more stuff.
There you go, Scott. And see, the thing is, now, if you would have asked me that question, I would have said, okay, ask me the same question. I'll give you my answer. Don't laugh. I'll give you my answer.
What is your answer?
No, ask me the question. We got to have dramatic effect.
The dramatic effect. Well, if evolution, what he's saying is true, then I just can't believe that would be in effect. I really don't, Jimmy. I just can't.
Well, okay. Well, the question was, where did evolution come from? Where did it get its start? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the answer. The same 20 amino acids on every planet in the universe. That's where it came from. So all of us have those same basic, and it doesn't matter if it's a worm, if it's a fly, if it's Nick Pope, if it's me, if it's you. It doesn't matter.
Well, somebody started it.
Yeah, probably a lightning strike on a crystal in a lake bed. Am I right, Nick?
No.
Am I right? It's magic as far as that goes. The whole combination of those different amino acids and the creation of DNA and how this happened. So that's the Richard Dawkins answer. And that's where he comes from. And there is a certain amount of sense to that you can't argue. Me, I take it from another thing. And Nick and I talked about this the other night. I think there's something out there very smart and very intelligent that has been around forever, since before our universe, and was out there creating other universes, and it's gotten really, really smart over hundreds of billions of years, not just 15 billion years. And life is created all the time, and they have fun with it because they're really smart, and it's beyond our intelligence. Now, is that God? I don't know. But
that's the thing. I agree, but there's some sort of creation that is creating all this, and it goes back to something.
Well, who
Maybe
created?
Our human minds can't understand that, and I get it.
Well, then who created God?
That's the whole thing.
Now,
and
see,
who created that? Who created that? Who created that? Who created that?
Right. And so that's where Nick comes in and says, "See, I'm right." You can say it now, Nick.
Well, no, I mean, I'm the first one to admit that I don't have all the answers. But here's an interesting philosophical point, and I think it was pretty much the point that you just made. But let's suppose one day, and people have tried to do this, but let's suppose one day that we do create life ourselves in a test tube, or maybe artificial intelligence, a machine that becomes self-aware. Now, we created that life, but does that make us a creator with a capital C? I would say no. I would just say that it's us being smart and doing stuff.
It's not going to create a soul.
Well, okay, so Scott, you have to then. I'll pose this to Nick, and even Scott, you can jump in. But Nick, going back to the ancient aliens theory, do you postulate that UFOs and aliens were confused with gods in history?
I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I do not 100% sure know that we've ever been visited. I mean, I simply don't know. As I've said before, we don't, in the British government, we don't have a spaceship hidden away in an Air Force hangar somewhere. But if we have been visited, I can see how entities arriving from the sky might have been worshipped and regarded as gods. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I might have made this point on the show on Tuesday night. I think I discussed the classic Arthur C. Clarke quote that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
That's right.
I would take that a step further and say any sufficiently advanced civilization is indistinguishable from God.
Right.
I mean, what if, as I say, what if a theoretical physicist at a place like the Large Hadron Collider creates a universe in that particle accelerator? What if someone creates life in a test tube? What if we build a machine so powerful it becomes self-aware? And as for a soul, well, I don't know that there is such a thing. We regard ourselves as self-aware and conscious, but debates about the split between brain and mind have been going on almost since the dawn of time.
Well, what's your opinion then? When we die, do we just achieve our part of evolution and just turn into dirt?
Yep, that's it. So make the most of it while we're here. This is it. Life is not a rehearsal.
And that is where I disagree. I think the soul lives on into a different eternity, maybe a different dimension. And if you didn't do your right justices here on earth, I think it comes back to you learning a lesson.
Yeah, there you go, Scott.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope you're right too. I really do. But see, this is what's great about the both of you and myself. That's why God invented vanilla and chocolate ice cream, so we can all have choices. Hey, Scott, enjoy the rest of your night, my friend. Thank you so much.
Hey, and it's a pleasure talking to you too, Nick. You guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too, Scott.
You too.
Yeah, thank you. So, but Nick.
But this just shows you. This just shows you why this workshop that I'm going to be doing at Contact in the Desert is, I think, going to be a little bit lively.
Yes, it is, and I enjoy these conversations because for me, I'm in the middle. I don't know which way I would fall on this fence, right? And I enjoy these conversations. But let me ask you. When we have those out there, and some are friends of ours and yours, that have had near-death experiences, or have died, and have been brought back to life, and they share these experiences. What do you think's going on there? I mean, that's a real experience.
Probably some sort of vivid hallucination in an oxygen-starved brain.
That lasts for 30 minutes?
That then kind of takes its fuel from the particular individual's cultural background, their belief system, etc. So it doesn't surprise me that people who say, are critically ill, perhaps through some combination of oxygen deprivation and drugs and wishful thinking, see a light.
The adrenaline rush at the moment of dying would probably be so extreme, right? As far as what you're talking about here, a hallucination or something, because it would be like an electrical shock like you've never had in your life. And that could definitely constitute some pretty crazy visions, because we've all had them, right? Right before a car accident, or before you fall or trip or fall down a hill or whatever it is, when something extreme happens, you have that adrenaline rush. That would kick off maybe the pineal gland or other things, and unlock these vivid imagination or vivid memories that you've had over the years. And that could be this life's review that everybody talks about, and these memories are released all at one time. You think that could be this vision?
It could well be. I mean, my goodness, we don't really even understand, the dreaming state.
Right.
And we know that when we dream, for example, our perception of time is skewed, and that a dream that you have in just a few moments of napping can seem to last a long time and to encompass a really complex, structured narrative.
Now, I'm going to get back to the phones, but you just went up a notch. You've always been interesting, but this really got interesting. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Nick Pope.
Hello, Nick Pope.
Hi there.
I got a two-part question for you.
Well, first you have to state your name.
Oh, this is Eric, the Awakening Man.
Hi, Eric, the Awakening Man. Okay, what do you have for Nick?
I'm taking the flip side of Scott's question, in the sense that I'm going to assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Pope, but in all likelihood, you probably believe or you accept the possibility that we're being visited by non-human entities. Is that a fair assumption?
I certainly think that it's quite likely that there's life elsewhere in the universe, because in a sense, I don't think there's anything magical and unique about planet Earth. I think we'll find that the standard, the Copernican principle applies, that we're probably just a fairly average, boring, somewhere in the middle planet. And therefore, what happens here, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't happen elsewhere in the universe. As to whether we're being visited or not, I don't know, but I certainly don't rule it out.
Okay, and part two, thank you for that. Part two is that, I don't know if labeling anybody as an atheist is fair, because for me personally, it's like, okay, when people say God, there is the theory that a lot of people seem to buy into or think it's possible that the demigods, for example, came to planet Earth and we were hybridized or created through cloning or whatever method where, can you see that as more of a possibility than there's just one God that created everybody?
Well, I think it comes back to the point that are we? I mean, let's take that example. If there are other civilizations out there, and many of them are far more advanced than us. I mean, you mentioned the phrase demigods, but I would say, in one sense, that's probably not a label that I would use. I would just say a life form that is a bit smarter than human beings. It doesn't make them divine any more than we are divine now because we're more technologically advanced and scientifically knowledgeable than we were in the Bronze Age.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking my call. I'll get off the line here. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eric. Great phone call. Nick, you shut him down. Well done.
No, that's not. I don't think I shut him down. I mean, hopefully I answered his question and told him what I thought.
Well, see, and
it's not my intention to shut anyone down.
I'm just playing.
It's not my intention. It's not my intention to tell anyone what to believe. I'm just telling you what I believe.
Wait till you see him at Contact in the Desert. He's 6'8". So I think I've introduced you to him before. But this is, and you're absolutely right, your presentation at Contact in the Desert on this subject will be a lively one because the people that listen to this show are completely open-minded, right? And I push that agenda every single day. Listen to everybody. Not everybody's going to agree, but let's get together here. Let's talk about it, and let's have some fun. And when it comes to religion, that when you throw UFOs and aliens into the mix, you have the most extreme opinions. And that's it. And people are going to believe what they want to believe. I've got time for one more phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Nick Pope.
Hey, how's it going? It's Nick, right? Nick Pope?
Yes.
Oh, great. Nice to catch you. I was a little bit ahead when I jumped over to this phone. I was listening to you through the computer. Nick, so you worked at I'm sorry, this is Tom from Dayton, Ohio.
Hi, Tom.
Hi there.
Nice to talk with you both today.
Okay, we're up against a network break here, Tom. So, what's your question?
Yeah, so Richard Doty called in Jimmy Church a while ago, and he was the disinfo guy here. And do you get a lot of criticism because I would assume as a retired MOD agent, you get a retirement check, and so there is something to be said about, possibly you still being on the payroll. Does that ever come up, and how do you handle it if it does?
I will get a government pension, and I certainly don't believe in divulging classified information. I'm not a whistleblower, but like a lot of people who've been involved in government programs, I take the view that if the government itself declassifies information, that's then something that I can comment on. I absolutely get that there will be people in the UFO and conspiracy community who don't trust me and will say once government, always government. Fair enough. I very much doubt there's anything I can say to those people that will dissuade them. But I am honestly not still on the payroll, with the exception of the fact that I get a pension, or I will get a pension as a former government employee.
Just like any government employee.
That's right. And thank you for the phone call, Tom. Thank you for the phone call. And I'll say,
Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great question. And the other thing is, Nick, I mean, I'll speak for you. You don't want to screw up that pension either, right? So you have to stay in bounds. You definitely worked for this. So why you don't want to jeopardize that?
No, but even if it wasn't for the pension, I took a security oath, and I take that seriously. Loyalty and integrity is important.
Now, what are you going to do when you and I pass over, right, to the other side? What are you going to do?
There isn't one, so I'm not going to do anything.
What are you going to do when I come up to you and go, yo, Nick, can you show me around this place? I think what are you going to do? Or
seeing as I don't think there is one, I guess I'll be pretty darn surprised.
Oh, you and I and Richard Dawkins are going to sit down and have a little conversation. Nick, thank you so much, my friend, and for coming in tonight and doing this. It means so much to this audience, and we'll see you. I can't believe it, in 3 short weeks at Contact in the Desert. Be safe, and I'll see you. I'll see you out there.
Thanks, Jimmy. See you there.
Thank you so much, Nick. And everybody can just go to nickpope.net. All of Nick's scheduling is right there. His books are right there, and his blog and everything that he does. Great writing. Everything is right there at nickpope.net. And with that, I am going to get over to another commercial. I'm going to get this in now, this short break. And when I come back, I'll continue the open lines with all of you. Thank you, Nick. Great conversation. Nick Pope, this is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with more of your phone calls right after this. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thank you, Nick Pope. That was great. That was great. I've got my opinions, though. You know, and it goes back to my point, which is, oh, by the way, this is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Head over to OnStellar, alpha.onstellar.com. Get registered over there. I have no idea how many Fadernauts are over on OnStellar, but it's certainly a couple of thousand, and all of you messaging me at the same time. I'm trying to keep up, and you guys can see that, but you can go over to OnStellar. We're going to figure out and have a chat solution over at OnStellar, so we can do that. But in the meantime, you're more than welcome to message me over there. Certainly Twitter at JChurchRadio, and either of our chat rooms over at Spreaker or KGRA The Planet. I have my opinions about all of this, and Richard Dawkins, who will never be on this program. He's welcome to come on this program, but he wouldn't want to hang out here. But the point with all of this is, and I want to stress this, I love our community, and we can all sit around and debate all of this. There's no reason for an atheist to be offended. There's no reason for somebody that believes in a God or whatever thing that you do should be offended. If you are into spirituality, and don't confuse religion with spirituality, as two different things. And you can do nearly all of it at the same time too as well. I know that sounds weird. That's kind of like me. Somebody just called me agnostic. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Oh, hello. Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Who's this?
Hey, Jimmy. My name is Dale. I've been listening to your radio show for a couple of months now, and I love it. And I took your advice and went on to OnStellar.
Oh, you did? Good.
And so, yeah. And there are a couple of friends I talked to about it, and the first guy asked me, he's like, well, what's their business plan to stay in business? They don't do ads. They don't do data mining. And I was like, I really don't have an idea about that.
Yep.
So I thought I would ask you about that.
We're broke. No, it's what we are going to do is we are going to introduce the blockchain. And as you know, when you go to your profile page and you click on your profile page, which I'm going to do right now in real time here, and you scroll down on the left-hand side, and you will see your wallet. Okay, you've got a wallet there, and you can see the OnStellar tokens. Now, this isn't Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. This is a token. The token has value. Right now, it's 20 cents per token. But when you sign on to OnStellar and you register, and if you use a referral code, if you don't use a referral code, you've got 10 tokens. If you use a referral code, you're given another 15 tokens. So you'll have 25 tokens to start with. But it is a token-based economy. So we're going to have the blockchain built in, and the more activity that is done on the site, upvoting, downvoting, comments, creation of of material and videos and articles and things like that. The more that you do things on this, and the more people that we have there, the more comments and posts and things that are created, the blockchain creates more tokens, and that goes back into the economy. And you are rewarded for your comments, for your upvoting, if you write an article or whatever that you do, that stimulates the economy. It's just like a little town in the Midwest. You've got a main street, and you've got a barber shop and a couple of restaurants. You've got a general store, and you've got things, right? And you've got a farm outside of town and a ranch. That all feeds the little economy that's in this town. That's what OnStellar is. That's why you're not going to see advertising, and that's why you're not going to see outside influences. You're not going to see a corporate structure come in and try to manhandle you or anything like that. And that's what it's based on. And all you have to do is go and register, and you can start participating in the economy. We're going to get the blockchain in here as soon as we clear out of the beta stage, and we know that everything is running and cool. And there you go. And that's it. It's nothing more than that. It's not a big secret.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple of other kind of what I call them alt tech that are taking that approach. So, like Gab is doing that.
Yeah, it's the
I believe
future.
Minds does that also.
Yeah, it's the future of everything. And if Facebook was smart, if YouTube was smart, and everything, I'm talking about Netflix or anything out there, they would look at this as Internet 3.0 and move into this type of structure with the blockchain. They should all do it, and the technology that everybody is based on right now is the technology that was developed for this type of economic system and basis for the internet. That's from 1995. You know, this is 2018, and we will figure this out on our own. And one thing is for sure, is that the internet and those that use the internet have figured out something. They don't like being data mined. They don't like their data being sold. They're tired of looking at advertising, and they're tired of selective advertising focused at them when it feels intrusive. There is nothing. You know what's creepy to me? And your name was Dale or Daryl?
Dale.
Dale. Okay. You know what's creepy to me is last week, I'll give you a perfect example. Last week, Rita and I bought some furniture for a family member. Okay? And we literally were in the car, and we were thinking about going to a few different places. And so we looked up this piece of furniture, on the net. And, so we could go to the closest place and go and get it, or buy it, and have it delivered. Later on that afternoon, a few minutes after doing the search, right, suddenly this furniture is now in our Facebook news feed. And it took minutes. It's like the most offensive thing, and we're done with it. What? Suddenly we need this furniture? It's like, and it's like that. And I don't need that in my life. I don't need that kind of big brother action, Dale. And so you're not going to see that on OnStellar, I can promise you. Have a great day, man. Go ahead.
Another big issue is that people are being, deplatformed and
censorship. Yes.
All of a sudden, censorship stuff, I think, is probably a concern some of my friends have.
Yes, and you're not going to have that over on OnStellar. Just as long as everybody's got a moral compass. And if you stay inside of what you would normally do or say, you stay inside of those boundaries, you can do whatever you want on OnStellar. And think about that. There's not going to be, that doesn't mean, oh man, it's freedom of speech, no censorship. All right, I'm going to do pornography. and I'm going to post that up on. No, it ain't that kind of party. That's not what I'm saying when I say no censorship. Stay inside of the boundaries. This is. I don't have any problems with somebody that doesn't necessarily have an interest in the paranormal or the supernatural or UFOs, but they want to come over and hang out and learn, and they start a profile page and they want to post stuff about crocheting or golf. You know, that it's
unrelated.
Yeah, you know, but that's what this is about. And if you can come over here and enjoy the platform without the intrusion of data mining or corporations or advertising, and that's the environment that you want, well, you're going to have that over here. So come over and have fun. It's going to blow up, man. I'm telling you, On Stellar is going to take over. It's going to take over. Thank you, Dale. Have a great night, my friend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a great night. And let me do this. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. I'm going with area code 604. You're up next on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. It's Paul over here in Vancouver.
Hi, Paul in Vancouver. What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm really excited about On Stellar. I think it's gonna take off big time.
Yes, it is. It doesn't have a choice. You know, this is something that the community and the world needs right now. And it's already blowing up. And I'm telling you, the next couple of months is going to be an amazing ride. So, welcome. What's your screen name over on Stellar?
Well, I chose Barrett Owl in the beginning, but I had to change it because I'm not sure if, I tried to get on a couple of times, but I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, get over there and send me a friend request, okay?
Okay, I will.
Thank you so much, Paul. Behave and be well. Great phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Mike over in Spokane, Acrium 66 on Stella.
Ah, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Tired, but I'm doing good. Hey, I just want to say I listen to you every morning because, as you know, I get up really, really early and I work long hours. But your show, you have a way of hitting the public and just to where it's like we're family. I mean, I know we're family. You preach it constantly, but I mean, you literally feel like you're family, and that's cool. And it makes my day go by. So it's fun. And On Stellar, man, I can't wait till everything just goes.
I know.
Just goes.
And it's
awesome.
And see, you know what? It's so much fun now. And because everything is pretty much running, but after we get the news feed in, I mean, for me, it was one of my requirements for On Stellar from the beginning. We have to do this and this and this on our profile page, and it's something that nobody else does. But once that goes into play, because we have groups, we have company pages, we have article writing, we have the trending and all of these elements that make it so cool that nobody else is doing. But once that news feed goes in, the 5 or 6 or 7 things that everybody should have on a social media site are all going to be there and running, and then that's it, man. It's off to the races.
Oh, I agree. I'm excited for it. I even donated to it a couple of times, actually. So,
right on. How many?
What can I say?
How many tokens do you have in your wallet?
275 or something.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now, Mike, let's get off On Stellar for a second. Welcome, thank you, and I look forward to a nice, long, fun friendship on Stellar in this program. But let me ask you a question.
Betcha.
Let me ask you. Here's the test. I'm going to test you. Who's your favorite heavy metal guitar player?
Ooh, honestly. To me, though, I grew up I was born in 66, but the 80s was my favorite, along with the late 70s.
Okay. You're right in my wheelhouse, so I can't wait to hear this.
Eddie Van Halen is my favorite.
There you go. That's what I'm talking. See, the thing is, Mike, and thank you for the phone call, but what is important here is that when you say family, the thing is, I have always let it all hang out. I don't I don't hide anything. And so when I talk about the things that motivate me, like Eddie Van Halen, right? Music or movies or food or breakfast cereals or UFOs or time travel or Egypt. These are the things that interest me. And the audience has grown because they listen to this. They may not, Egypt, maybe it is. It may not be Eddie Van Halen or 80s hair bands. It may not. But something is going to, and they're going to, you know what, this dude, Church, he's all right. Right? He's all right. And that's all that happens here, Mike. And you've picked up on that. So thank you. And let's go hang out on Stellar after the show.
Right on. And I thank you and Rita and the crew. And Teresa wanted me to say to Rita, thanks for accepting her friend request. There you go.
All right. Give Teresa my best, Mike, and don't be a stranger.
I will.
Thank you so much. Bye. Great phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's your brother from another mother, Jonathan Hall.
Jonathan Hall. How are you, man?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing?
It's Thursday night, man. It's Fader night. Had Nick Pope in here.
Right.
You got John Rappaport.
That's the answer. Anyway, listen, I want to thank you so much. I'm on Stellar, as you know. We chatted a little bit earlier on there. But I want to urge people. There's all kinds of people. I listen to people talk about all kinds of different things on your show, and there's been some people calling that have some deep-rooted beliefs.
Right.
And I just urge people to be tender to one another over there. We all have something to share, and I've been around the block a few times, and I can tell you that everyone has something to say. We may not agree with it, but if we listen to them, where I come from, there's something that speaks through them, and if you listen, you may hear something that you're supposed to hear in order to maybe make you take a look somewhere. But beyond that, I also want to say that I heard your show the other night, as you know, and you spoke about Google and YouTube, and you spoke about the statistics, which I found quite terrifying. I knew that they had pretty much taken over, but I had no idea to what degree. I have gotten off Facebook a long time ago, back during the election we had last, for numerous reasons. Also knowing what Facebook was before they published what they published to the public in the news and everything else. And I have put a post up there on Unstellar if people would like to see it. It's kind of a crazy title, but it's the title makes the poignant point of just how personal they get with you and your family, your kids, and how they cannot wait for you to put that little phone in their hand so they can start getting on there. And I think we all know that it's social programming, that they are trying to direct us and steer us in certain ways. If they don't know that, they're not paying attention. I've been called paranoid. I also reply, well, if you're not paranoid, you're not paying attention. That's a cliche that's been going around, but there is so much truth to that. I just want to say thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm afraid to say you have a new star on your show named Micah.
Yeah, he's amazing, yeah.
Man, the first time I heard him go on there, I laughed and giggled through that whole thing listening to him. It was amazing. He totally upstaged you and Nick, by the way. And so you better move over. There's a new kid on the block.
That's exactly right. That's you know what? Getting upstaged by Mika is what life is all about. That's
Amen.
that's it. I mean, if you really think about it, there is always in an evolutionary process in anything, right? Think about the guitar players from the 50s and look at these kids today playing guitar, man. Go check out, have you checked out Bumblefoot? And you go watch him and you're just like, wait a minute here, man. Stop the bus, right? This is what's going on today. And so you have this, who would have thought that Eddie Van Halen could have been improved upon, or Steve Vai could have been improved upon, or you go back Jimmy Page or Hendrix, and how could these things improve? But they all do, and it's the same thing with knowledge or basketball. Who could have gotten better than Jerry West? Well, then along comes Michael Jordan. Who would have been better than Dr. J, right? And Michael Jordan comes along. Then you got Kobe Bryant, and now we've got LeBron James, or whatever. Things get better and better and better and better. And so today, Mika, 9 years old. If I get shown up by Mika, bring it. I love every second of it. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
One last thing, and I'm going to get out of here.
Sure.
Mika is the future, and he not just the future. I'm speaking for children in general, and this is why I feel so strongly about some of the things that I have to say, be it on Stellar or just communicating with you.
Right.
Is that the kids are our future, and we need to protect them from those that would love to take over our world. And that's all I have to say about that, and we have to do what we have to do in order to make their future possible. A free future. God bless, Jimmy. All my best now and forever.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Great phone call, my friend.
All right, sir. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. And he's absolutely right there. I've got time for one more phone call, then I'm going to comment on this after the break. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, it's Mike from Montana, Jimmy. What's up?
Hi, Mike from Montana. Are you like my fourth Mike phone call tonight? What are the odds of that, right? How are you, Mike? What's going on?
Pretty good. Hey, I wanted to ask one quick question about On Stellar, and then I wanted to ask you something else. But when On Stellar, when I'm trying to upload some of my videos, is there a size limit, maybe? Some of them are about 4 minutes long.
Well, what I would do for now, if the videos are up on YouTube, just use a YouTube link. I don't have that technical answer right now, but what I would do if you need to find this out, just write info@onstellar.com and ask that question, and you will get a response.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, the other thing I want...
I don't have the answers to everything. I'm close. I'm close, Mike. Okay, what's your question?
Well, it's not really a question. It's kind of like, I was listening to Nick earlier, and he said something about death being, maybe the end point or whatever.
Right.
I drowned at 6 years old, and I can tell him it's not really the end point. I was 6 years old. I drowned in the river, went 300 and some yards underwater, and was lucky that I actually got pulled out by the person that encountered me. And but I was probably without a heartbeat, no breathing for 7-8 minutes. And during that whole time, there is a light. I saw that too. But what really got me was, even at 6 years old, I had never heard of any of this stuff before. At 6 years old, my life went backwards at the moment that I realized there was no turning back. I done sucked in the water. I couldn't. It was fading fast, But my life, every day, the highlights of every day of my life, all the way back to my birth, it amazed me. That's what really amazed me. It's like, if that was a hallucination, how could you do that as a 6-year-old? You know what I'm saying? Because there's no, like people say you're influenced by all these things as you grow older. I had no influence. I didn't even understand what was about to happen. I knew I was going to probably die, but I didn't realize the experience. And for 7 minutes, I went through this whole experience. And when I finally regained consciousness, the first thing I said was, "Why did you bring me back?"
Right.
And it was like they all looked at me strangely, and I was probably pale green color. And I was like, where I was perfectly happy. And I came back, and I was like, somebody messed up here. I'm not supposed to be here, not with you all. and it seemed like I got booted out of the, like on Survivor, you get booted off the island. It really kind of, for a long time, I don't want to say depressed me, but I just didn't feel like I belonged here. You know what I mean? Because of all that experience that I went through during that 7 minutes, which seemed like an eternity. So I don't know. I don't know if Nick's right about it being the end. I just think I'm not religious. I don't go around with the Bible in hand and all that.
Right.
But I know there's something beyond this. I don't know exactly what it is. I got a taste of it. And to be honest with you, I don't fear death. That's probably why I did some of the stupidest things anybody could imagine.
Right.
Free climbing a face cliff.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, stupid stuff. And I hate to admit it, but I had a bottle of Jack and two of my buddies with me, and we decided, hey, why not? Let's try it. So, I mean, crazy stuff like that. But I never feared death from 6 on, even to this day. I've been in car wrecks that would have killed most people. I flipped the car 17 times, hit a culvert, jackknifed it, and what it did is it slammed through a stone column at the end of this man's driveway. They went through the driver's side, and I was on the passenger side hanging on to a strap with 2 threads holding on to the door. And if it had broke loose, I would have been over in the middle of that stone pile coming through. But I walked away from that wreck without a scratch. It actually freaked the priest out who showed up to give me last rite. Because I walked away like, okay, I wrecked my car, but I'm still here, and didn't have a scratch on me. And the farmer that owned the property, he saw it. It was at nighttime, so he saw the car lights and all. But he looked at me and he said, "You have not even a scratch." And he had to break a window out for me to actually get out of the car. There was no hood, no trunk, no door on the driver's side was gone after the last impact. The seat went through the back window after the rocks piled through. The motor was laying about 300 yards with the tranny probably 100 yards away. The rear axle was at the beginning of it all about 300 yards back. And so,
wow.
They all said,
well,
you should have been dead.
And that's, Mike, I want to thank you for the phone call. I got to break to a commercial, but what's really cool is that you went through that experience, and then when you hear something, like Nick, you know that there's something else out there, I'll talk more about this when I come back. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader Night, Thursday night. I'll be right back. More of your phone calls are next. Stay with me.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM.
Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fader Nights. Open lines all night long. Had Nick Pope in taking phone calls earlier. Thank you, Nick. That was great. John Rappaport. Great phone calls tonight. Mika in from the United Kingdom. And let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, it's Kyle calling from Sacramento. How you doing?
Hey, man, how are you? That's the question.
Oh, it's like my Wednesday night. I'm good.
Are you on the road? Are you on the road?
I am on the road with the headset, good sir.
Okay, just as long as you're behaving, I'll take this phone call.
Always. So I've been curious because I've seen the news on Black Vault about the AAWPS or whatever it was that might have actually been ATIP instead.
Yeah, OSAP.
OSAP. Do we? From what it sounded like, it sounded like we might have been doing the queries wrong on the Freedom of Information Act stuff. But it also sounds like that may have been underhanded, too, based on what you were saying. I'll be honest, I didn't get to hear Nick Pope earlier because I literally turned the show on about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, we didn't we didn't talk about that tonight, but I understand what you're saying because that's what there are some out there that are trying to suggest just that. And that may be the case that these queries may be right. But
Justin, right? From Black Vault?
No, John Greenwald.
That's it, John.
Yeah.
I knew it was a J name.
Yeah.
Yeah, because John's note that came up on the site didn't sound like he was insinuating there was any ill intent to the stars over this information. It sounded like maybe that they were going with information they had, and then this is probably what it was changed to. And since they didn't know it was changed to this, nobody else did either.
Yeah,
so the queries went nowhere.
Yeah, to me, this is my take on that. Those are, and this has nothing to do with Greenwald and his excellent research that he does with the Black Vault. This is my opinion only, which is you have to have your ducks in a row. And if you are going to come out and say ATIP, and you are going to do a release like that and get this information out and quote it into the New York Times, then you know what? It needs to be correct, right? And that's it. You don't have a second shot at that. And now that it's come out that the Pentagon themselves have said that it is aviation and it's not aerospace, I want that stuff correct, and I want answers for that. I don't want to have runaround. I don't want to have rhetoric. I don't want to have well, it's a different program. It's this, is that. You know what? Give me the documents that say ATIP with your name on it. Other than that, please save it. I just don't want to hear it. This community has been run around in circles for decades. And so if you're going to come out and say ATIP is this and I ran this program, I want to see the documents. I want your resignation letter. I want something, but don't give me words. That's it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. And OSAP says weapons, and it has nothing to do with the suggestion of ET or anything else, or UFOs or anything else. So it looks to me like it's a completely separate program that has nothing. It sounds like Star Wars to me, and that's my take. I just want the documentation to back this up. Right now, it's nothing but flapping of the jaw.
Well, yeah, but think about this part though. If you read the note that was on Black Vault, one of the interesting lines of that note that popped up when.
Oh, we lost you.
I just saw it the day that it did pop up. But that message clearly states that OSAP actually was something that Corey Good was talking about.
That's right. Corey, no.
Let me throw this out there because I've been wanting to say this one for a while. We talk about the community policing itself.
Right.
I'm going to throw it out there, Jimmy. I've been on the fence with Corey Good ever since I went to the YouTube page and found the video of the blue orb. And quite clearly saw that he was using a night vision filter because iPhones do not have night vision built into them. And you can clearly see that that's a drone with something attached to the top of it.
Okay, I haven't seen what you're. I haven't seen what you're. I haven't seen what you're referencing. The one got on
there. It's called like Blue Orb filmed with wife's iPhone or something like that.
Okay.
And he's never stated that it's a joke. He has stated that on your show a couple times that that's a legit video, and even on there, people are calling it out.
Right.
And the comments are still there.
Right.
But I'm not trying to call him out into a corner because what I find very fascinating about this is, wait a minute, Corey Good's been talking about OSAP for a couple of years, and now suddenly we're getting hits on it with Freedom of Information Act. That actually almost somewhat makes Corey sound like he really is who he is. And I know you guys have your relationship, but as the outsiders looking in, there's a lot of us that look at what he and David have to say and kind of look at it and go, on the fence, the fence.
And you have to be
on the fence over here.
You have to be on the fence. You have to be.
Yeah.
And
especially when you have the Dr. Michael Salo books that also corroborate what he says. Yet, as far as I can tell, the two of them never met until way later when they were both doing Gaia stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a little interesting too.
It is. Okay, so let me quickly state here, now that it is gone public a little bit, the document that has OSAP in it that has been referenced, that document was sent to me last year. Okay, it was sent to me by Corey, and I read. There's two reports. and written by Eric Davis. And I read through the reports, and I'm just going to say this out in the open right now. When I read through the 2 reports that Corey sent me, and this is before it got published online, I read through them and I thought, okay, cool stuff. Wormholes, warp drives. This is fun stuff, but it's science fiction. It's theory. Okay, it's theory, and it's fun to read, and I just left it on my desktop. Corey then published it in December. I think he sent it to me like October of last year. So we're looking at 9 months ago I got these documents. I didn't speak about them publicly. I just sat on them. I read through them. They're both extensive and long, and I just let it go. When it came out last week that there was this secret document, right? Well, and there was an insider that had leaked the document page that was referenced, I'm not going to say who, on this particular blog was the exact PDF that Corey made of these files when he sent it to me. And it's like, wait a minute. And the cover of the document says, for release, right? It's not secret. It's for internal use only. So this had been floating around since 2010 when the document, the report, I should say, was written, and OSAP is referenced in there. But it's not top secret. It's not anything. It's a report that was written by Eric Davis, 2 of them, and there was no insider leaking these things and all of that. I'm sorry, I just don't buy into that, because I was sent the documents and Corey was given these reports and was told then that these weren't secret, and it clearly states on the cover of it that they are not. So the reference to OSAP, whatever. It's a weapons program that could be Star Wars or whatever, but it has nothing to do with ATIP. And for somebody to say that, and I could be way wrong here, and I've discussed this with Greenwald at length, and Greenwald has his opinion, I have mine, but I don't see anything that has anything to do with anything here. It's just something that's in an unclassified report that was written by Eric Davis, and that's the end of the story. It has nothing to do with ATIP. And I still have my issues with ATIP, and that's the end of it. I think it's great that Corey found these. He was given them, and that he chose to post them online, and they've been out there for since December, and it's nothing secret, and there's nothing crazy about it. It's 2 reports written by Eric Davis.
The note on Greenwald's webpage came up, made it sound like he got a hit from a Freedom of Information Act request about OSAP, and that's where his information was coming from, not from something posted online back then.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
No.
I need to reread the note.
Now, what you're referring to there is, and this was quite by accident, which is really cool.
It's almost the equivalent of stubbing your toe on gold at the river.
Yes, because
what it sounded like.
Because John, yes, this is what John told me himself, and I don't want to quote him or anything. I can bring him on the show, and he can tell me exactly again, and he can repeat it. But the OSAP happened to show up in another search that he had done, I believe, a couple of years ago. And it happened to be in there. I think that's what he said. And he was like, man, what are the odds of this? How cool is it? I'm like, absolutely right. What are the odds, right? And that's what he's referring to on his site. And I'll have to go back and look. I didn't go to Black Vault and check it out. But he did tell me about this in a phone call last week. And I think we followed up on it. What is today? Today's Thursday. I think I talked to him Monday or Tuesday. I can get John back on the show. Man, I should call him right now. Maybe I should just call him right now. But yeah, pretty cool. So there you go.
Finally get my question from Reddit answered by him.
Have a great night and be safe driving that truck.
Thanks. I'm not in a truck. I'm just driving home in the car.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Thank you.
Behave.
You guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Yo, Jimmy, what's cracking?
Who's this? Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
you're live.
Hey, yo, this is Jordan.
Oh, hey, Jordan. How are you, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
So who was the best metal guitar player from the 80s?
From the 80s.
Oh, you got to be
I'd
fast.
have to say Mick Mars.
I knew you were going to say.
Mick Mars.
I was going to answer for you. Okay, Mick Mars. There you go. What's on your mind tonight, Jordan?
What was the last song you listened to?
The last song that I listened to today, you mean today, would have been, what did I listen to today? I listened to, you know what I listened to? And it was incredible.
What?
I listened to, was Graham Bonnet, number one, his new release. I listened to that. And then immediately after that, I listened to Steve Vai and Chad Smith and do a cover version of Burn by Deep Purple.
Oh, man, that's a good list. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah, man. So that's what I listened to today, man. I listened to, and I think it's off of Remachined. It's a Deep Purple cover album. But man, what an incredible version of that song! Oh man, and it's close. The keyboard solo is note for note, but other than that, it's a complete redo. Really well done. Really well done. Okay, so what's on your mind, Jordan?
So, man, it was a good week this week with all the shows, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I learned so much shit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there.
But, you know Pretty Boy Floyd, right?
Yep.
Did you hear their drummer died?
No. Are you kidding?
Yeah, man. Yeah, he died. Yeah.
Well, when
yeah,
did
he was 45. He had cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. He died yesterday, I think. When I went, I saw him I saw Pretty Boy Floyd at Herman's, and he collapsed on stage. And my friend's mom actually helped save him. He was like, it was crazy, dude. He like totally passed out and during a song, like right during a song, and then he ended up dying like yesterday.
Man.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
I did not. I'm blown away. I'm looking here to see. I don't see it online. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Yeah, they only did an Instagram post. There's really not much about it.
Yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, I've got it on. Wow. That's crazy. And the thing is, back in the 80s, and there's probably some people that are listening right now that'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a rehearsal studio in Hollywood. It was called the Hollywood and Western Building on the corner of Hollywood and Western. And they rehearsed with us on the fourth floor there for a couple of years. And
dude, that's it.
Yeah, the coolest band in the world. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen them play and how much fun that we had. But
they do a really good cover of "Take Me to the Top." That's a really good cover.
Man, I am blown away. I am just. I don't even know what to think about this.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty crazy.
I just don't know what to say. So he had cancer?
Yeah, he had cancer, and he's still playing shows too. Like we totally watched him collapse on stage at Herman's Hideaway, which we played that stage. That's where we opened up for Hookers and Blow.
Right.
Yeah, we totally watched him collapse on stage, and his my friend's mom helped save him. It was crazy.
Wow.
And then he still played shows after that. He was like still playing shows. Like we just heard he was playing in like New York like a week after that. It was crazy.
Wow. I mean, I'm blown away. The drummer that I remember back then, his name was Carey.
Yeah, I think it's a new guy though.
Oh, it's not Carrie. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
what
I was.
Quit for whatever reason, but yeah.
Right.
You know how these bands are nowadays. They have like all kinds of new members and all kinds of lineup changes.
Right.
Because now you have Jack Russell's Great White, and then you have the original Great White, and now you have Bobby Blotzer's Rat, and now Stephen Pearcy's Rat. You know.
Right. Yeah. It's well, look at Queensryche.
Yeah. What's up with that?
What's
up with that, man?
Yeah, I mean, how could you have Queensryche without Jeff Tate? I listened to.
That's what I'm saying. Those vocals.
I went back to back a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to the new singer for Queensryche, and I did that first. And I think the song that I listened to was NM156, right? So I'm listening to the new Queensryche live doing that with the new singer. And then I went over and caught Jeff Tate's Queensryche doing NM156. Man, two different things going on here. And it's, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Both versions are good. You know, in the original Queensryche, you know, you got the band, you know, and it you know, but Jeff Tate is Jeff Tate, and I don't want to I don't want to take anything away from this other singer. I don't know his name, because he's good, but there's only one Jeff Tate, right? There's only one.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of like
they're like saying they're going to replace Neil Peart with Mike Portnoy and Rush. As good as that would be. It's not Rush without Neil Peart. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. And well, let's go with Ripper Owens, right?
Yeah, right.
Ripper Owens is good. He's good, but he ain't no Rob Halford, right? It's just
no way.
And I'm not taking anything against away from Ripper, dude.
Okay, so who do you think rips the best vocals? Is it Rob Halford or Dio?
Oh man! You know what?
Because you've been all up close and personal.
I have.
You would know.
Yes. I've been right there with both of them, face to face. But the thing is, you're talking about two different styles there. Now, if I was,
that's what I mean.
Okay, if I was going to say rock and roll, dude, rock and roll.
Yep.
You got to go Dio.
Yep.
But if you're going heavy metal, I think the more difficult argument that you get into here is Rob Halford or Jeff Tate. Ooh, now we're into a zone here.
That's rough.
That's rough. Man, that's rough. I mean, what do you do with that? But I'd say the overall dude, I mean the overall rock and roll guy, then you got to say Robert Plant, or you got to go into some different areas there, and it's really, really, really tough. So you know what, and then you know what, I really like Graham Bonnet, and Graham Bonnet.
Graham Bonnet's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, he's just absolutely incredible. And I've said over the years, what do you do about somebody like Graham Bonnet, who is so melodical, so pure? He
diverse too.
Well, and go back, he can sing R&B, and you go back to his stuff that he did in the early 70s before Rainbow, and you're like, man, he's one of the best. The late 60s. So anyway, what do you do with these kinds of decisions? I don't know. My heart lies with Rob Halford. When Queensryche came along, that first EP with Queen of the Reich, and I heard that, and I thought, well, there's the greatest singer that ever lived, right?
Yeah,
and the first Queensryche album, and the second one, The Warning. Oh man. Ooh,
isn't that good?
Yeah, man.
He just rips those vocals though. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of range.
Yep. You know what I did with Rita? I did this. I've got to run here. I've got to head, Jordan. But back in this is like 15 years ago, I said to Rita, I said, do you really want to hear a good singer? And we were just debating one day about, music and stuff. And I played her Silent Lucidity. And I think I played her, right? And I played her Flame, right? Take Hold of the Flame.
Oh, yes.
And she was like, I've never heard anybody sing like this. And so
man,
he blows people's minds, and so
he does. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, boom, wow, that's crazy, dude. He's like the best.
Yeah. I saw Queensryche open for Kiss in like 1984.
No.
Yeah, 84, 85.
Was it Unmasked? Was it Unmasked Kiss?
You know what? You want me to blow your mind? I don't even remember. I went there to go see.
Oh man! There. It was the 80s, though, right?
It was 84, 85, Long Beach Arena.
Yeah,
and I went to go see Queensryche, and Kiss had them.
Quaalude.
They had them so choked back that Queensryche was really low and compressed, but they sounded amazing. And Kiss came out, and it was all loud, and everything, and it sounded like crap. And Kiss really got shown up, man. Hey, Jordan, behave and be well, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go have some fun.
All right, man. Before I go, we're playing a show this weekend at the Artery in Fort Collins.
Yep.
So it's going to be $15. Anybody that's in Fort Collins tomorrow, come check us out, man. It's going to be fun.
What if they wear a Fade to Black shirt? Do they get in for free?
Yeah, they get in for free, and they get an Infinite Empire shirt.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Jordan, have a great gig this weekend. Take some pictures.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah, will do, for sure.
There you go. Jordan, the drummer for Infinite Empire, playing this weekend. You heard it in Fort Collins. Go check it out. All right, I got to get out of here. It's another Fader night. Great night tonight with everybody. Thank you so much. And, of course, I've got to thank John Rappaport for his No More Fake Newsroom Live. Then, of course, Nick Pope coming in and manning the phones with me tonight, heating things up. Great conversation. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music Doug Aldrich. Intro Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Head over to On Stellar, everybody. Until Monday, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.